I'm going to read you about how much I love Donall.
Yeah.
This is about Donall the poet. He had a way with words. He had a way with words. When he said, butterfly, kisses alighted on my face, brushing my lips with multicolored dust. When he said, star, time and space flexed, spawned new suns, planets studded with marvels. When he said moon, the tides turned. Sea monsters raised sad heads, mourning their exile into legend. When he said goodbye, an abyss opened at my feet. Sun and moon and stars slipped and fell. Butterflies were merely insects, and words could not console me. He hasn't said
5 people. Donall is 64 people, and Jan is 66 people. Okay, now we have Mr. Donall Dempsey at the microphone. Welcome to Kingston Hospital Radio, Donall.
Thank you, Julie. I am many peoples, actually. Many
you?
peoples, yes.
Oh, so
I've been many peoples in my time.
have you? Okay,
And many peoples have looked through these pupils
and said,
and said they want to go back again. Please, no, not you. Anybody.
thank you for that.
I come from the Curragh of Kildare,
Okay.
which is very flat land. It's full of sheep, horses, and a big military camp full of soldiers. And it's known as sheep, shite and soldiers because it's got equal proportions of those. So it's not the
I'm glad
greatest.
there's a lot of the dark stuff being mentioned on this show today.
let's get straight to it.
It's like the Curragh of Kildare, so that's where I was born and reared. And
So that
that accounts for why I am the way I am. So
Yeah,
I like it.
exactly. Yeah.
But as I always say, you know, the Curragh's got a flat accent like that, but my dad is from Cork. And that, if I get excited, have you ever seen me excited?
No.
If I get excited, the voice goes up like that, and it goes up and Cork and up and down like a Cork accent like that all the time, and you can hardly understand a word I say. So,
Is it just that bad?
it is that bad. I used to go down to my aunties and uncles, and I'd have no idea what they were saying. It was like a foreign language. When I was bringing Jan into Dublin for the first time, there was a whole lot of Cork people on the bus going into Dublin city centre. And it's like fast fluent French crossed with fast fluent Welsh. And Jan was saying, what country are they from? I said, they're Irish.
My boyfriend's from Cork.
It's a lovely accent, I love it. And when I speak, I generally speak in my dad's adopted tones and the voice goes high. Can't help it.
Okay.
So, as you know, my dad is very important to me, and I learned. I'm going to show you today how toast would come about. How somebody like me could write a poem called Toast, because my dad was my book, and I would be woken up in the morning by my dad singing songs and stuff like that. So I'd be fast asleep, and suddenly he'd go, wake up, you sleepyhead, get up, get out of bed. Cheer up, your sun is red. Live, love, laugh and be happy. What if I've been blue? Now I'm walking through fields of flowers. Rain may glisten, but still I listen for hours and hours. I'm like a kid again, doing what I did again, singing them songs. When the red robin comes bobbing along. Yeah, like, oh Jesus, I'm up. So when you got a dad like that, like, you know,
Oh my God.
it was very easy to wake up in the morning. Because he just Al Jolson you or something. I probably went myself too.
I've ever witnessed anything like that in my life. That was marvellous.
So I'd be curled up into my dad's lap like a question mark curled into a question, and my dad's voice would be the answer. And he'd tell me old poems like the Robert Louis Stevenson you're going to hear in a minute, or an old one like this to anybody of my Irish generation would be very familiar. But I don't see this on the page, I hear it from a voice about 6 years before I actually see it written down. So all these poems, songs exist with a voice, a breath on your cheek, rustle in your hair. That's where words come from. They're actually breath. It's breath. So, I would sit in my dad's lap and he'd say something like the old woman of the road. So this is about a little Irish woman who's homeless, obviously, and she longs for the impossible dream of what she can't have. This is old hat to use.
Very familiar with this.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, to have a little house, to own the heart and stool and all. The heaped up sods against the fire, the pile of turf against the wall. They have a clock with weights and chains and a pendulum swinging up and down. A dresser filled with shining delf, speckled and white and blue and brown. I could be busy all the day, clearing and sweeping hearth and floor, and fixing on their shelf again my white and blue and speckled store. I could be quiet there at night, beside the fire and by myself, sure of a bed and loath to leave the ticking clock and the shining delf. Ach, but I'm weary of mist and dark and roads where there's never a house nor bush, and tired am I of bog and road and the crying wind and the lonesome hush. And I'm praying to God on high, and I'm praying to him night and day, for a little house, a house of my own, out of the winds and the rain's way. And that was written by Padraig Colum, who also wrote the words to She Moved Through the Fair. Now, how do you get from there to me?
How indeed.
And I come up with a poem called Toast.
I've got a poem called Toast.
Have you got a poem called Toast?
I don't think that's repeatable on the radio.
No.
So, John, when are we on Tuesday?
Tuesday evening, we're in Guildford. We're running an open mic with features at the Bar des Arts, which
We
is
are?
opposite
Hang on,
the...
we need to.
And you've got to bring your funny
repeat
poems.
It's at the Bar des
I'm in
Arts,
Your funny
Glastonbury.
poems.
opposite
Your
the
funny
Yvonne
poems.
Arnaud Theatre. And if you're able to come out and go to the Bar des Arts at 7:30, you'll find us and our guests, Pauline Sewards and another couple of Cheryl McLennan and Rodney Wood, who comes from
Local
Farnham,
boy.
all reading their poetry. And then there's open mics as well. So if you have a poem you'd like to read out, please come along.
That's this
or just
Tuesday.
come and listen. That's this
Tuesday.
coming Tuesday, the 29th of May.
Wonderful.
Look forward to it if you can get there.
I'll be
Bye-bye.
wearing my hat and nothing else.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Full house then.
Of course, I'll be wearing it in a very strategic place. So.
Oh, what, on your head?
Yes. Right, so we get from The Old Woman of the Roads, which is a real sentimental old poem, and that's part of my Irish childhood, and it's part of my dad's Irish childhood, which would take it back all the way to the 20s, 30s and stuff like that, so, you know, just that tradition of...
Yeah.
So you'd know that without knowing it, it would be just inside your head without having to learn it or anything like that. Oh. So we get from The Old Woman of the Roads to toast. Can you make toast, Julie? Alright, this is how to make toast. Fire! Fire! The house was busily burning down. Quick! Quick! Mum screeched. Go fetch the marshmallows. I dashed back into the inferno and emerged long minutes later. My eyebrows ablaze, my nostril hairs slightly singed. The fire had greedily gobbled up all the marshmallows for itself, said Mum, slapping me about the head with each uttered syllable. I managed to save a loaf of mother's pride, I cried. But it'll have to do, sighed Mum. And so we had some toast. So you can see the Padraig Colum influence.
I can see it. I can feel it. I can smell
This
it.
is my dad doing Robert Louis Stevenson.
Here it comes.
I'll take my hat off.
This is a poem called The Moon by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is a poem called The Moon by Robert Louis Stevenson. The moon has a face like the clock in the hall. She shines on thieves on the garden wall, on streets and fields and harbour quays, and birdies asleep in the forks of the trees. The squalling cat and the squeaking mouse and howling dog by the door of the house. The bat that lies in the bed at noon. All love to be out by the light of the moon. But all the things that belong to the day cuddle to sleep to be out of the way. And flowers and children close their eyes till up in the morning the sun shall rise.